Hello and welcome to the Reservoir Red Dogs podcast, another lockdown special with Forest icon Ian Woan. I'm Matt Ford and this is the wonderful Paul McGregor.
Woanie, mate, we got him. We got him.
All right, Now, there's certain things you need to know at the start of this. Well, firstly, let's address the news. So we recorded this with Ian last week. We didn't know at that point that he was about to test positive for COVID-19. Now, you may have seen that in the news or on social media. I got in touch with him when I found out. He's asymptomatic. He's absolutely fine. But as a part of Project Restart, obviously, footballers and managers and coaches are being tested. He showed up as positive, but he has absolutely no symptoms and he's good. So,
Goodness.
So we knew releasing this that people would be worried about him. We recorded it before he found out, so that's why it's not mentioned. And any reference to the coronavirus in this is obviously done before he's about to get tested for it. But just to reassure you, he's absolutely fine. And, I mean, he is so full of beans, isn't he?
Well, he is, but do you think we should report to the government that a possible symptom of coronavirus is extremely shiny teeth?
His teeth are out of this world. They're the white.
They are beautiful, aren't they?
He is. I mean, he was a good-looking man when he played. And I think we talk about it. His hair is shorter than it was. And there's slightly less of it. But he's still got, he's tanned, he's in good shape.
He looks great, doesn't he?
His teeth really pop. You know, he looks fantastic.
What a gorgeous man.
He is.
And what a left foot.
Oh,
what
man.
a left foot, mate.
And what stories you're about to enjoy. This is, he spills the beans. This was great fun. Enjoy the amazing Ian Woan.
So my dad was up in the loft the other day and he pulled out a load of old Forest training kit. Well, all this sort of stuff dead fashionable now.
It is, you're right.
So he pulled it all out. I've not had this off my back for a week. I think.
But I bet if you pulled your own shirt out, you put a shirt on, it's like triple XL.
Oh man, how big were they? The shorts as well.
I couldn't run. No, I can run. Well, it's always uphill coming back. We know that.
Yeah.
I'm all right running that way, but coming back the ways, I'm not so sure.
There's that great Noel Gallagher interview, Matt, where he's talking about he's looking back at all the old Oasis videos.
Oh, the Stand By Me video.
And he gets through about 3 of them, and he's caning them, and he goes, "Oh, we look great there," and all that, and he just goes, "How big were our clothes?
How big is Bonehead's shirt?
Massive.
Looks like he's got his granddad's clothes on."
Massive big shirt and really tight shorts. It just doesn't go. It just doesn't go.
Well, I'm so glad you said that because I used to be able to wear XL Forest shirts when I was in my teens and 20s. And now the Macron ones or whatever, all these figure-hugging shirts, I have to go like double XL. And it was making me feel, it was bad for my self-esteem. But they've definitely got smaller.
Oh, my God. Incredible. I couldn't have played it today for sure. We were playing a couple of years ago. Joey Martin was with us. And I put this kind of shirt on. He goes, "No, Woney, you look like a pint of milk in a bin bag." Honestly, it was the worst thing I've ever seen. I said, "You're not wrong, Joe. There's no way I could play like that."
We should describe what Macca's wearing. It's a proper, what is it, 94, 95 era Macca, big Umbro, red, heavy jumper, pro training.
Yeah, really heavy drill. It's not training because there's no numbers on it. So we got given so much kit. It'll just have been like,
it's proper.
It'd have been a pre-season, just like here's some kit, and then the season starts, and here's your new kit, and it's just got folded up and put in the loft or something.
Because you found the other day loads of your old Forest shirts, didn't you?
Yeah, my dad had a load I didn't know about. He found my first season, the signed one, and then the one they ripped Gary Crosby's name off and stuck mine over the top when I got thrown in the first team.
Gary Crosby. You just couldn't throw this far, and you couldn't do the woodwork.
Have you kept any of your shirts, Woney, from your time at Forest?
Honestly, if you walk around my house, I've got nothing on the wall. But my daughter, because we spend a lot of time together, the girls said, "You got to," because I try and, since we've been kind of in the Premier League with Burnley, I kind of try and get a shirt because my youngest Millie, footy mad. So I've been trying to get shirts for us, and it came up.
Does she play?
Yeah, she plays for Holy Spirit Celtic, which is kind of attached to the Beckett School in Bridgeford.
Yeah, I went to the Beckett School.
Yeah. So she plays every Sunday, absolutely loves it. But my eldest, not a competitive bone in her body. The one who just sorted the computer out. So she's at Manchester Met, but no interested unless I can get her to a game. She can get a selfie with one of the players, and she's all over. But my youngest is like probably into football, absolutely loves it. We've been down to Forest a few times last season, loved it, and she's right into it. But she was like, "Dad, have you got any shirts that you can have?" Exactly that. Pulled them out because all these modern, Premier League ones are so tight, and she uses them for like to go to bed in like as a pajama. So she sleeps in these. Like she had one like David Silver on last night. I'm thinking, what's that? And so she said, "Dad, can I have one of yours?" I went, "Yeah, exactly what we're talking about." It was, she was like, how fat were you? Oh, no, that was just the style.
Surely these sacred clothes are not being used as pajamas.
I tell you what I did pull out, though. I did pull out the 91 Cup Final shirt.
Oh,
and I said, "Sorry, look, you can't sleep in that. You can't sleep in that." I said, that's got to stay pristine, that one. But
amazing.
How do we lose that, Matt? How do we lose that?
Oh, mate.
Do you know what the sad thing about that is? I got took off after about 68 minutes, and I thought, fair one, because it wasn't my best performance. And I was sitting there on the side and went to extra time, and I knew how Cloughy thinks, and I'm thinking, if this goes to a replay, he ain't going to pick me. I'm not going to be on the bench, so I'm not going to get a shirt, I'm not going to get a medal. So I said, we need to get a result today. I need something from this. So they come through a midweek replay, and I got nothing. Did you get the final? Yeah.
I'll take the loss.
Yeah, I'll take the loss. I need the shirt, I need the medal.
Oh, man.
How sad is that? How sad is that? Then,
brilliant.
To be fair, Des Walker didn't disappoint. Stuck one in the top net.
So when your daughters ask you about your playing days, do you show them some of those amazing goals you scored on YouTube?
Very little, actually. I'm not really into that sort of stuff. She will, because obviously we still live in Nottingham. So obviously, it's not that I'm that well known, but the surname always, like, if she says, "Oh, it's Millie Woan," or "It's Maddie Woan," there's not many Woans in Nottingham, so it's always like, "Oh, did your dad play?" So she's always got to answer some sort of questions, and there's always something popping up. But it's only Millie really that gets involved in the football. But they do ask, but not overly. It's not like, "Come on, Dad, let's sit down and watch all your best bits." Like,
that's what 40. That's what. Come on, ask me. That's what 40 thinks that we do. That we just sit there watching them.
Photograph in the house of any football memorabilia, not one.
Me neither.
Not
Me
one.
neither.
But hey, Matt, don't take this. No, honestly, Matt, my 10 years of Forest, incredible. Absolutely love every second of it. Apart from the David Platt area. But apart from that, but honestly, Forest, incredible. Absolutely love every second of it. It's incredible. And you'll verify that, Macca, because it was that era when we were at it.
Oh, it was a privilege, wasn't it?
The European sort of.
Oh my God.
Absolutely incredible.
Felt like the Beatles. I can remember like the whole Singapore tour with. Remember Stan in Singapore, mate? It was mental.
You can't talk about 95% of that tour.
No.
Why not?
Like most of them. But I remember being in a shopping mall with Stan and Scott Gemmell, and we got chased out. We got locked in a shop because of people chasing Stan.
Yeah.
Just locked in a shop, and then we had to get escorted out. It was unbelievable.
In Singapore?
Remember, they were in the foyer. There must have been, at any given time, 200-300 people in the foyer trying to give us cuddly toys, and they were chasing the bus everywhere. Honestly, mate, it was like the Beatles. It was madness.
Matt, honestly, it was incredible. We flew out there with Frank, and Frank was pretty relaxed and said, look, we're going to end the season trip. We're all a bit, well, I'm not so sure we want to do this. So we end up in Singapore. They said, look, we've got a game. We're playing the Singapore national team in 3 days' time. You know, just look after yourselves. You know, no problem. We'll just have a bit of a kickabout. We'll go and sort them out. So we've like got right on it, as you do. Got right on the piss, and we're drinking for 2 days solid. So he said, look after yourselves today. Evening kickoff. It's like, it must be 95 degrees. 100%.
Oh, mate, you remember that heat walking out?
So we got on the bus and we drove to the stadium thinking it's just going to be a kickabout. Macca, there must have been 50,000 people there.
Yeah. Have you seen that stadium? Have you ever looked back? And that stadium's like one of the world's best stadiums.
We
Unbelievable.
got to the stadium and we've been on the piss for 2.5 days and we're playing.
Oh, man.
I honestly, everyone to a player thought we'd finish the season, party time. And we thought it was going to be like 1,000 people there, a little kickabout. 50,000 people there.
But that's like having to play football in the middle of a stag do. Like, how are you not sick?
It was incredible. To be fair, I scored my only headed goal of my career in that game. I don't want to mention that. Get out of the way of it, Mike.
And here it is on YouTube.
So, Woney, were you at the Nebworth trip that Sean Dyche was talking about last week?
Yeah. And by the way, you know, we're doing, this is a Forest podcast, obviously, looking after the Forest lads. How's Dyche got on the week before me?
He replied quicker.
I'm not so sure he even actually put a shirt on, did he? I don't know.
We can't find any photos of him in a Forest kit, I don't think. People have sent photos of him in like a training top. But
I don't think he kicked the ball in anger with the tricky trick. I don't think he did. He played for Simon Clough's Sunday League team, and that was that. That was the space fella. The thing about Sean, he was in that era. I think he was 87 to about 92. But those 3 years, I signed in 90. But those 3 years that him and Stone and all them boys had for 3 years as an apprentice, he has a million stories because Cloughy just abused them, get him to his gardens, putting his grass, doing all sorts. It was an incredible era. Whereas I had like 3 years with Cloughy, which was, you know, he wasn't in the best of health. No. So I didn't really get the real peak of him. But honestly, some of the stories that Dyche tells, and I'm thinking, you didn't even play for him. It was like incredible, absolutely incredible.
Do you know what, mate? Do you know when I look back? I mean, it's only since been doing the podcast that I've ever looked back at my playing career, really. And those 2 YTS years under Clough, when you're a dog's body, and you hear everything, you see everything. You've got to run his bath. You've got to clean his garden. You've got to walk his dog. You've got to, you know, pick this shit up. And you're getting ordered around left, right, and centre. And straight out of school into that was just the wildest. When you look back, you just think, I was 16, straight into Brian Clough being my manager. And it's just the most bizarre. And the stories that when you go back, you start thinking about it and writing it down. You're like, that was crazy.
How sorry did you feel for Del, the dog?
Oh,
he was the loveliest, cutest Labrador you've ever seen in your life. Oh my God, he got so abused. He got abused.
Squash racket.
You knew if Del came down, he was a beautiful dog, but you knew probably 40 yards behind him, the gaffer's coming.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you never see. It's like the Red Arrows, wasn't it? You saw Del, everyone just went.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Get in a wardrobe, get in there, just hide. You know he's coming. Oh,
we said to Dyche last week, when that happened, we were all just in the boot room, in the far room in the boot room. Just 20 youth team players like this. You just coming in, you just hear, Armstrong or Blondie, and that'd be it.
Oh, it's absolutely incredible, absolutely incredible. You look back, and luckily I had 2 or 3 years with him, but it was, he just knew he could see the picture, he could see where he wanted to get, and he had a jigsaw full of like puzzles, but he could put it together. He knew what players he needed to fit what he wanted to do. Because you remember, mate, there was no tactics. I can't remember any build-up to a game when we ever once mentioned the opposition. Ever. It was like, we're better than them. If we do what we do, we'll beat them. And that was this kind of philosophy. You know?
Can you do that this day and age?
No.
Can you? No.
Players have opinions and players want information. And players will give you the blame. There's so much geared towards sports science and the analysts. And get them on the training pitch, have that one-to-one feel with them, and just do what... I hate saying like what we used to do, because it's the word, because everyone goes, oh, you're a dinosaur. Football hasn't changed. No. You know, the rules haven't changed. It's all about that. Do you want to play for me? And getting them wanting to buy into what you're selling. And that's what it's all about for us, that creating an environment. And that was what it was with Brian Clough. Just creating an environment that makes you want to come to training every day and then perform on a Saturday. You can't get away from that.
As a player, how many coaches have you had that would just, compared to Clough, obviously he was an extreme, but have just overcomplicated so much on the training field. And like when we've had Robbo on here and all the boys from those European Cup winning teams that have been on, they just scream the same thing about simplicity. Like, you just knew your job. You had one job and you had to, that's what you had to do. And he brought in the right people and there's your job, mate. You just go and do that. And like you say, didn't speak about opposition.
Exactly that. You know, if you were picked in Brian Clough's team, that's the only compliment you needed. You didn't need a pat on the back and say, oh, you done brilliant today and all this. Because modern day players, wow, they need stroking. They need stroking.
Beg your pardon?
You're like a good stroke now. But they do. But back in our day, if you were picked in Brian Clough's team, that's the only stroking you needed. Because you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Honestly, and that was it. That was just the way it was. So it's just the fundamentals and the basics of please, thank you, excuse me, and enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's what we base it all on. And it sounds like everyone will go, really? But I'm telling you, it takes you a long way. It takes you a really long way. Because I signed when I was 22. I came out of non-league. I was 22. It's just unbelievable experience. So they dropped me in on these kids like 18, 19. It was Sean, me, Craig Boardman, and Stoney. And I was like, the biggest shock to the system I've ever had in my life. Honestly, it's like, what do you do with your days? Like, 'cause I was a quantity surveyor. I got released at 18 from Everton. So I went back to college, and I wanted to be an architect, and I was doing all my studies, and I'm just about to go to university to do a degree in building and civil engineering. On Forest side, they dropped me in here, and the way Forest train, I was like going to training. I was like 10:30. I was finished by 11:30.
Oh man, 5 sides as well.
But you couldn't do extras. Impossible. No way. You would have been kicked out if you wanted to do extras. Whatever Cloughie said, that's your training finished, done.
Can you remember when Lars came and he was doing, like, we'd all be leaving, he'd be asking to stay doing keep-ups, trying to hit the bar and stuff, and be like, behave yourself, what are you doing?
Let's go. Just couldn't do it, could you? It was just something you didn't want to. It's just like, no. If you want to do extras, you have to go down the local park and do it yourself.
Yeah.
And when you look back, that is what caught Forest out at the end of the day, because we were a super talented group, but you then came up against, because everything was moving forward, everyone was kind of not as talented as us, but they were getting fitter than us, and they were getting sports science, and they were moving forward. And we, under Brian Clough, I've never got a bad word to say about Brian Clough. He's an absolute legend. Loved working for him, but things just kind of went stagnant, and everyone else was going forward, and eventually that's what caught us out when we eventually left and we got relegated. And that was the only reason why, because he was a bit reluctant to push that kind of, and go with the times. That was the issue.
I remember at the time when Frank Clark took over, particularly after that promotion season, there are all pictures in like Match and Shoot of what was his name? Pete something who did the fitness.
Pete Edwards.
Yeah, and he had you in these jackets with lead weights in
Bruno!
them. He turned Forest apparently into one of the fittest teams in the league, but it looked grueling.
Honestly, you read some of Frank Clark's comments and it's like, oh yeah, we had a few players who were a bit reluctant to join in. And I'm thinking, I'm one.
That was you. Oh, mate, you used to kill him. Like, so you can imagine, Matt, we're doing all kinds of parachutes on, and like for an hour, you can just hear Woney at the back, just with keepers just shouting, "Get the balls out! Get the balls out!" for an hour during the training session. The lads are pissing themselves.
I know you've had Craig Armstrong on, but honestly, he came out with one of the best quotes ever. Because he'd just come out of his apprenticeship, he got his first year pro. And you remember, Macca, we used to go to Woollerton Park.
Oh, God.
Do the lake and we do the runs up the hill.
I go there now with my family and get shivers.
No, I do. I can't go there without being sick. But it was the first day. So you might just, you know Spuggy, Matt, you know Spuggy. You've interviewed him. He's not shy.
No.
So we got split into two groups, and one runs around one side of the lake and one runs around the other. They kind of meet at the end. So I'm in Spuggy's group, and it's his first year pro. Never really come across him before. So he takes off, and I'm like, I'm going to say mid-group, but I was at the back. As long as I was ahead of Mark Crosley.
That was it, yeah. I was the same.
Yeah. So, like, he's took off this stupid pace, and it's probably about 3/4 of a mile around the lake, probably. So,
but you had to sprint them, didn't you? You had to sprint those.
Yeah. So we took off at this pace, and I couldn't see who was at the front of this Spuggy. I'm like, Spuggy, just slow. He's gone, well, if you hadn't been drinking all summer, you'd be up here with me. His first day. Honestly.
Hey, he's not wrong, though, is he?
No, he's a bear. Yeah. So as soon as the balls comes out, you know what happens.
Oh, man, brilliant.
So Spuggy.
Gotta love him.
Drinking all summer.
Was it you that caught him talking to his boots that time?
What?
No.
What?
Was that not you?
No.
I thought it was. He was sat. It was. I think it was one of his early first team games. He was in the squad and he sat there and he's like, a couple of lads nudging each other, pointing at him, going, "What's he doing?" And he sat there rubbing them, going, "Come on, boys, come on, do your stuff. Come on, do your stuff, lads. Come on." Just talking to his boots.
He always wore those Adidas stand finders.
Yeah. Oh, Spugs, what a ledge.
Oh no, he's a character, Spuggy. My God.
Yeah.
Well, you scored a lot of amazing goals for Forest. Obviously, fondly remembered by Forest fans, but supporters of other teams as well remember some of these incredible goals you scored. I mean, there's so many that I can immediately bring to mind, even with the commentary. But are there any that you particularly remember?
Yeah.
So what would be your top 5 of your own goals?
We had a laugh about, we played Newcastle away last year.
Oh, man.
And, well, you know, Alistair Campbell's he's a huge Burnley fan.
Yeah.
On a Friday night, usually when we're down south, but we go out for a meal with him, we have a little night out. So we went out, we were up in Newcastle, and he said, "Look, do you want to come out for something to eat?" There's myself and Brendan Foster. "Do you want to come out for something to eat? We're going to the quayside." I said, "Yeah, it's me, Sean, Brendan, and Alistair." So we went out and just, had a few drinks and had a nice meal, really nice, lovely meal. And we got on to, like, Alistair started winding Brendan up about, why, you haven't won this and that. You think you're a big club, you've never won anything. And then he goes, "Well, we got really close." And he goes, "Do you know this is, well, it cost you the league, you know that?" And he's gone, "No, I don't understand. When was this?" And it was like, it was the Kevin Keegan era, obviously. And they came to our place and they had to win, and they're chasing Man U down the stretch to win.
I remember it. And Beardsley scored first, and the crowd erupted.
And after everyone erupted. And then balls come to me about 75 minutes. Batty's tried to control it, went under his foot, come to me, and I've started going, and I've smashed it from about 25 yards. And I'm thinking, hey, that's in. And it's in the top corner. Obviously, we've got Steve Stone in the team and everyone. I've kind of wheeled away. I'm thinking, I really don't want to celebrate because I really don't want you to win the league. So okay. And like Colin Cooper's come up to me, Stoney's come up to me and gone, what the are you doing? Steve just hit it. I'm 25 yards out. Shaq from here. I'm like, honestly, we're telling this story to Brendan Foster. I think Steve staring at me thinking, honestly, the whole night ruined.
Oh, no.
Campbell would not let it go. He was feasting out on it. I mean, couldn't get enough of it. To the fact that he got on his phone, Googled it, pulled the goal up and went, yeah, this is it here. And actually showed him the goal at the City ground.
What a rotter.
Campbell's a frigging nightmare. Come on, Brendan, he took it well, actually, Brendan Foster. What a great guy he is, by the way.
But I remember that goal. I remember that game. I remember turning up and everyone wanted Newcastle to win. I remember being in the main stand car park and the players getting cheered off the coach, signing autographs. I remember Beardsley scoring and everyone around us. I was sat in the main stand at that time, going ballistic. I remember when you scored, people around us going, "What's he doing?"
No, exactly right.
It was incredible.
If you look at the finish, it was such a rooted celebration for like the goal. I'm thinking, it's a decent goal. Like, for man, I was saying, I scored a good goal. But come on, Peter, go score one. Please go and score one. Go 2-1.
Because when you said Newcastle, I thought you were going to choose the one in the FA Cup a couple of years later, when Warren Barton sort of spins it up in the air and then just that incredible goal.
It was in charge then, wasn't it? Because I hadn't scored because Frank had just been sacked, I think, and Stewart had come in as the caretaker.
That was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, and they went 1-0 up, and then I hadn't scored. The season before, I think I'd had my record goal scoring. I think it was like 40.
Mate, that season you were just ridiculous. Some of those goals, mate, when you put a free kick, you put the ball down and it's a free kick. I'm just thinking, why are you hitting that? Why are you even thinking? What's going through your brain that you can hit a ball at that pace and hit those top corners? It was crazy. You were just on blob, mate.
It was a good time, but it was you just couldn't legislate for that sort of stuff. It's just like absolute madness. Just put it down, have a go. Because if you don't score the first one at Newcastle, I don't try the second because I hadn't scored all season. Frank Clark had had the sack. I scored 60 the season before or something, and Frank had just gone. I'm like, oh my god. So I remember getting interviewed after the game, and the interviewer in the tunnel had gone, brilliant. Good. I'm like, I'm devastated because I love Frank. Frank was a legend fella. And the fella I could think in my mind was, I've let him down. Absolutely let him down. And he's just gone and I scored. The first one was a deflection that went in. And then I scored the second one. And we beat them 2-1 in the FA Cup at Newcastle. But I was just thinking, I've let Frank down there. Absolute joke. Because Frank, brilliant. As you said before, though, Frank was the one who kind of dragged it. Because you imagine trying to get the job and stepping into Brian Clough's shoes. Talk about David Moyes going into Sir Alex's shoes.
Yeah.
You imagine going into Brian Clough's shoes? Incredible.
I thought he did it brilliantly, mate. I thought he carried on through some of those really great old traditions, like you said. Everyone's polite. There's no trouble. Raising young men and all that kind of stuff. But then brought in. I got coached for the first time in my life under Frank Clough.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And we all say the same. I thought he did that really well.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, man.
I mean, you were always a handsome player. I wasn't sure whether to say this or not.
Oh, that's that.
But seriously, I mean, even as a young kid, I was like, God, he's good looking, won't he?
Oh, Macca, we used to do some damage with the Black Orchid, mate, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, they were. Do you know what? Probably everybody that played 90s upwards has said that exact same thing on every podcast. Oh my God, we did some. It got naughty there. Honestly, everybody has just reminisced and gone. What was that all
the
about?
pub crawl was always, we'll start at Fothergill's, you'll go to Bellamy's for the 2020, you'll walk up to Jallens,
Yeah.
and bit of a go there, then walk down into Hockley and get to Brown's, bottle of strawberry hock, and then get yourself up to the Black Orchid.
A bottle of strawberry wine. A whole bottle.
John Robertson. I love Robbo. Rob, absolute legend. I absolutely love him to bits. A brilliant guy. Sit and listen to him all day. But all the football advice he's ever given me, the one thing that sticks in my head is his advice when he was in Browns with us one night. And he looked at us and went, Woney, if you're having a bottle of strawberry hock, have a glass.
Yeah, it wasn't the done thing though, was it?
Don't take it out of the bottle. So, it's a fair one, John. It's a fair one. So.
Oh, mate. I used to think, oh my God, I used to think I was the absolute ball. I had a blue Stone Island coat on, massive, black leather gloves, holding a bottle of strawberry hock, just smashing it.
Oh,
what an idiot.
What is strawberry hock?
You were a level to us, though, Macca. Because you had the music, and I remember going to Rock City to see you with Merck. But what a night! Man.
What a night that was, man!
What a night! Oh, incredible! Because you kind of brought something different. Because footballers kind of get involved in all this, self-absorbed. You kind of broke out and give us all something a little bit different. And we used to go out. We went to watch it at Rock City. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. But I remember we used to go to, we went to Callum Malone, we stayed at the Bahia de Les, and it was the end of the season, we had this, and you were singing.
Oh my God, yeah.
We're going to do the mock-up of Oasis, I think it was Wonderwall. So I was like, you front, because you could do Liam Gallagher like no one else could. So we had all the band members behind.
Stoney was bonehead.
Yeah. So
I
don't know why I was trying to play the guitar. We're all doing like air guitar. And Macca's turned around and go, you don't do it like that. I'm like, I'm just doing air guitar, Macca. You go into like, no, he's got to look the bollocks, he's got to look right. But in the middle of Callum Malone with like 15 people watching and you're like lip syncing to Wonderwall. I wasn't doing the air guitar right.
With Norm, my microphone was Norm holding a bottle of Beck's like that, and I just stand with my hands behind my back going, just singing my head off. And yeah, I turned around. I can remember that now. You were throwing your hips into it. I was like, Gwigsy doesn't do it like that, mate. He just stands still. They just stand still and look cool. Like, can you stop moving? You're ruining it, won't you?
No. I met Liam Gallagher. We were in New York in like '82. Remember Tommy Wright, the goalkeeper?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
And he played for Man. He'd gone to Man City. So me, my missus, Tommy and his missus, we went to New York. We were in New York for the weekend. I don't know. I think it was when Oasis were over there doing their US tour, and it didn't quite work. So obviously we're up Fifth Avenue. We pulled in and we just went into this little Irish bar, and honestly, there's no one in there. Proper dive Irish bar, which I can't believe on Fifth Avenue in New York. So we're sitting there having a few drinks because Tommy was Irish and I want to have a pint of Guinness. So okay, fine. So we're sitting there and we're having a few drinks, and I'm looked up, and it was Liam Gallagher and Bonehead and someone else in this bar. So Tommy's at Man City. So we thought, we're not going to bother him. I shit you not. We're sitting there having a chat. So we didn't bother him. We were thinking, we don't want to bother him. He's only gone up to the music and gone, jukebox and gone, boom, and put Wonderwall on.
Yes.
As if to say, any danger. You're acknowledging me. Honestly, because we didn't want to bother him. Honestly, different class. He came over. We were laughing. We said, "Look,
did he?
Sorry, I'm sorry. We just didn't want to bother you." He came over. It was absolutely top drawer. Absolutely.
Oh, mate.
He went and put Wonderwall on. He just said, "Coming over and say, how are you, lads? Okay." He went,
Love it. Love it.
What are you doing?
But did he know you guys were?
He probably didn't know me, but Tommy was playing at Man City at the time. He was goalkeeper for Man City. He was like, "You've got to come say hello to me." But I was like,
That is amazing.
We know who you are.
Where did that end up?
That was messy.
Was it?
Yeah, really messy.
Oh, brilliant, man. Wow.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. But that era, do you know what the great thing? Whatever you talk about, you know, that era when we were really in our pomp, no phones.
No.
Yes.
So there was no fear. You know, you could be what you are. You could enjoy yourself. You could go out and be crazy, and you know, within rules. We were never out of control, kind of. But yeah, that was. It was. But you could go and enjoy yourself without fear of. You know, Sunday morning there'll be some just across, you know, all platforms.
Yeah.
You know, you could just go and enjoy your night and do what you do and be yourself. Footballers now are so scared and so wary. When they say, oh, they're so standoffish, they don't engage anymore. Because tomorrow, if they do, they'll say, oh, he was doing this, he was doing that. Our era was just absolutely fantastic. I remember we used to play early 90s, just a bit before you, Macca, probably. Early 90s when Keno and all these sort of boys, we were playing. We used to finish the game at 4:45, and there was a fine for not being back at the TBI at 6:30.
Love that.
6:30. So there'll be myself, there'll be Stoney, there'll be Roy Keane, Dicey was involved, there'll be Gary Charles, Terry Wilson, Steve
Wills, mate.
Oh, Wills.
We've got to get Wills on. My God, what a boy.
I think he's in the States, I think. And
is he?
Yeah. Well, if you find him, he owes me $3,000. But
what from?
Or Wilson was into all sorts.
Yeah, you don't want to know.
You don't know. But we go back to the TBI by 6:30, and all you drink was it was Red Stripe, cans of Red Stripe. So the game was you do a pyramid of Red Stripe, but this is Roy Keane, Steve Stone, like myself, back from 100 yards from the stadium by 6:30, gone home, showered, gear on. Well, they get the same gear on. It was the same gear every week because you couldn't get into club then in jeans, a bit of black pegs and a Ralph Lauren shirt. That was it. And a bit of Grensons.
Oh, Grensons, yeah.
And that one, you'd be back in the TBI, 100 yards from the ground, drinking.
But there must have still been fans in there after the game that were drinking.
No, they were all in. It was just that's just the way it was. That was our start point. When you crack on. It was just absolutely incredible. That era, pre-phones, not that we were doing something that we were didn't want people to know. We were just enjoying yourself. And I think that's the problem you have now. You can't anymore because there's so much that.
Just culturally as well, Wiz. It was an amazing, just music and football clashing and music being at the forefront. Sorry, football being at the forefront like it's never been before. It was cool. You know what I mean? It was like. And you had the bands wearing, like Oasis particularly, but the whole Britpop thing was so entwined with football as well. It was just incredible. You couldn't turn anywhere for musical football. It was all encompassing, wasn't it? It was an amazing kind of 4 years.
Unbelievable.
And to be in the Premier League when that's happening,
Yeah, it's absolutely top draw. The whole Nedworth thing was just incredible because I think you picked us up at the airport with Sean, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, he picked me up at my house in the park, and he was in the limo on his own. I think it was only the second time I'd met him, and we were talking about it. We just had a right laugh in the limo, just getting leathered. I think we'd done a bottle of champagne before we picked you guys up. You were all at the airport, and then was that the one? What was the one where Piercy put me in the overhead locker and wouldn't let me get down?
What?
Oh, Matt, honestly. No, that was a different. Because Piercy loved his music. I think we were going to see Big Country up in Leeds. And I think we were all just in a small minibus. And it was like you were really coming to the fore now. You were kind of making that kind of bridge from, kind of young pro to But Piercy was a tough nut to crack.
Yeah.
Stuff. So when
he bullied me. You know, he bullied me.
So we're driving up the M1 going to see Big Country in Leeds, I think. And Piercy decided, you know, the kind of, it was a minibus, we had that kind of gap. The driver,
yeah, when you put your bags.
I still have nightmares about it.
He was stuffed in there for 2 hours. He would not let, I mean...
Get out there, Gimp.
Macca, was it that, like this?
Oh, yeah.
He wouldn't let him out, like stuffed in there. And every time he said, get in there, Gimp. I would let bring out that, honestly. You never see
Oh, my word.
2 hours in there. We're all drinking, having fun. And every time you kind of poked your head out, he's like... Honestly. The thing, I don't know if you were there. It might have been pre-you, actually. We had a Christmas do. We used to go to Sound Phase, which... Do you remember Sound Phase?
I do. Made the Christmas do's with doing golf.
Yeah.
We're all in groups doing the golf drinking.
This Christmas, that was Terry Wilson, 9 hole in one.
Yeah.
But this Christmas too, we met at Sound Phase it was like 8 o'clock, and we did all like the Secret Santa, which was always a bit out of order. That was always a bit close to the knuckle. But then we went back. We were training, so we had to be back in training at 9 o'clock. So we've gone back in, but we were like 4 or 5 books fizzes in before we got to training at 10 o'clock. So Frank Clark's gone down to the training ground, and back in the day, we changed at the stadium. We walked down the Trent, and the training ground was about a mile down there. So we got changed, and we're all a bit buzzed because it's 9 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. We've had a few already. So we're finishing. All the staff have gone down to set up. And Piercy's gone, shouldn't even be in. So we've only gone the whole squad to the Larwood and Vos, which is at the back of the cricket club. Knocked on the door. Piercy knew everyone. Obviously, he ruled the city. Went in. We had 2 pints. The staff at the training ground waited for us to turn up. The whole squad. Can you imagine that now? So we had 2 pints and then went back round, went training. We got there like 11:15. The staff was like Frank and Liam and all the Pete Edwards, all the lads like, where have you been? We're like, what about 4 drinks in? So we're like, we started doing the warm-up. Pete Edwards told me to do the warm-up. We were like, yeah. So it's like, and to be fair, Frank called us on it and went, not happy. I'm not happy, but I like your togetherness. No, we'll call it a day. We'll call it a day. It's like, you imagine that now? Honestly, absolutely incredible.
What was Psycho like to play with? Because you two were kind of like that famous left-sided partnership.
Well, he was famous. I wasn't.
Well, but as a partnership for Forest.
I would describe him as dominating.
There's a clip.
Wiz, I always tell this story that I can remember being sat on the sat where the youth team used to sit on the benches.
Yeah.
And the amount of times that we would all recognise it, but the crowd wouldn't. You're down near the A block. That he'd be 10 yards from you and hit a pass to you at your knee at about 300 mile an hour just to get the crowd up and at it. And you'd be turning around to the gaffer and like everyone would be on your back going, get hold of it.
Yeah. Oh my God, he used to kill me.
And you're just looking back and you're
honestly, man, I for about 3 years, all I did, I'd get the boots with the whites on the boots and he'd smash it into me. I'd try and get hold of it and he would bell past me. And all he'd shout was, sit in. So all I had to do was like feed him down the line and I'd just stay in the left back position, look like. Okay.
Right.
But he used to score about 14 a season.
It's crazy, wasn't it?
A strike rate for a fullback.
Mate, those runs he used to make off and like 1-2s off Nige and stuff.
Oh, incredible. Absolutely incredible.
There's a clip. It might be from the FA Cup final. It gets shown on compilations and stuff where, and I think it's you and him. Well, I think you're getting up off the floor and I think he shouts something at you or something. It's sort of hard to tell whether he's motivating you or being rude or something.
Probably not. Probably
Was
not.
that, I suppose he was captain. Would he be like that with everyone?
Oh, that FA Cup was just absolutely unbelievable. You know, it's 1991, so I'm a little bit, you know, kind of, I can't really remember all the details, but the biggest thing you like, FA Cup final, I don't know, you're probably the same, lads, but a little bit younger than me, obviously, but FA Cup final day was like the biggest day ever.
Yeah.
We went down on the Friday, trained, and then we were coming back. Still didn't know the team because it was like the biggest day. Oh my God! This was like I played 9 professional games coming from non-league. And I'm driving back on the bus. I'm thinking, oh my God, if I'm on the bench, I'd be absolutely buzzed. But I played for like the previous 5 games. But I think Steve Hodge was coming back into like the fray. He'd been injured, and I think he was coming back. And I was thinking, okay, I might be struggling. So we're coming back to the training ground. Another bus. I don't know if you remember, Mac. The old bus used to have kind of the players section,
the kitchen,
kind of a curtain, the kitchen, and the staff.
Yeah,
you know, and we're coming back on the Friday afternoon for the cup final, and I think it was Ron Fenton or Alan Hill stuck his head through the curtain and went, skipper. So I'm like, okay, we're trying both things. No one's mentioned the team. We haven't done anything. As you said, we never did anything about Spurs. Nothing. No, just like on the train, done a little bit of a kick about. And he comes back with this little piece of paper of like, all right, lads, I've got the team for tomorrow. Piercy. So I'm like, oh, we've been playing cards at the front. Like, so Piercy's looked at this sheet and gone, Norm, you're in goal. That's good. Charlesy, you're playing out of Lawsy. Gaffer doesn't really like Lawsy. Sorry, mate. Chet, Des, myself, obviously. You know, and he's got the team. And like, he's gone across the midfield and he's come to me and he's gone, I thought he was going to say, he said, Woney, you're playing. Yeah, all the best. And like Glover and like we're sitting on the bus and we're driving back. So there's probably 20 of the squad on there. So there's only 2 subs back in the day. So there's 8 not even like involved. You know, Gemmo, I was like just like couldn't even like console himself. So I'm sitting there. We got about 15 minutes back to the hotel, and Lee Glover is like my roomie at the time, and he's been picked. So he's sitting next to me here. And I think it's Piercy and Dad were playing cards. Everyone's like, you know, a bit of muttering. I'm thinking, okay, play cool. Okay, play cool. Because no mobile phones, nothing. So all I could think about, got to tell me Dad, I can't believe I've got to tell me Dad. So I was just playing cards. We got back to the hotel and we got our cards back from reception. We went up, oh my God, me and Lee Glover, we must have bounced on our beds for about 20.
That's amazing.
It was just like, but for the biggest day in her life, he's just gone, yeah, you know, Piercy, go and pick the team type thing. And he just read it out a lot. And then I had to try and find a phone my parents. You know, I'm playing. Incredible.
Wow.
9 games into your professional career. 9 games.
That's so cool.
Wow.
I mean, to be fair, the day was a little bit too big for me. I'm not going to lie, but it was.
In what way?
I knew how big of an occasion it was, but you kind of get sucked into that. Okay, this will happen again type thing. But it was like, you know, this is an FA Cup final. But I was like, yeah, okay, brilliant. So I didn't really understand. Like now, if we'd have won the game, can you imagine back near Forest? There'd be like reunions. There'd be like everything.
Yeah.
You didn't understand because we used to go to Wembley every year. We used to get a Paul Smith suit every year, Mac, didn't we? Every year. He used to dress me. Paul Smith.
Sorted out by me, but you're welcome, you know.
Oh, well, I know. But we did. Absolutely incredible.
Obviously, I've never achieved those heights, but what would it feel like being on the park at Wembley in an FA Cup final and realising the game's passing you by?
Oh.
Difficult. No, it was difficult, but when you're 9 games into your professional career, I'm not so sure I understood it at the time.
Yeah, okay.
I knew I wasn't impacting the game because I'd only played 7. I scored 3 running up to the FA Cup final. I was thinking, you know, I'll impact it, and I wasn't impacting it. Like I remember doing a little bit and giving it to Bing, and Bing could have gone. We could have put us 2 up. It was like a 1v1, and that would have been, you know, a completely different game. But you don't, as you get older, because I had no reference points.
No.
Zero reference points. You know, I'm playing an FA Cup final, and I couldn't think back. Oh no, you got to start doing this. You got to, you got to. I had nothing to reference because it was.
So are games like that their own? Are they a different beast? Like, do they have their own nature? Are they like? Is there something intrinsically different that you can't just go out there and play your ordinary game? And why do players like Gaza, for example, step up? And why do players, what makes that?
Well, I think, great players make great decisions, good players make good decisions, and average players make average decisions. I think that's just the way football is. That's not something you can coach, I don't think. That's just built in. But Gaza on that day, my standout memory is standing in the tunnel, which, the iconic, Wembley tunnel going out to Wembley, which, you can't take that away from it. It's just an amazing memory. But all I can remember is Gaza bouncing off the walls. I mean, he was out of control. Out of control. He could not contain himself. Incredible. And the way the game panned out, if he hadn't been so badly hurt, he should have been sent off.
Yeah.
Yes.
He hit Gary Parker in the chest, yellow card, and absolutely cut Gary Charles in half.
Disgusting tackle, innit?
Had to be another yellow. Off you go. Spurs down to 10 men. Roger Milford, what are you doing? I know he's badly hurt, and he's an absolute legend of a player, but you got to send him off. He's down to 10 men.
Both straight reds these days, wouldn't they? Both of them would be immediate red cards. There wouldn't be any debate about it.
Not even a discussion. Not even a discussion. But it was, that was kind of my memory, kind of tainted a little bit. No, I didn't have a great game, but the memories are just incredible. Tell your kids. Not so much got two girls, but tell you, an FA Cup final is like once in a lifetime. Incredible. No, and I still get goosebumps about it now. And I never really look back and think, oh yeah, I don't. It's not my bag, that sort of stuff. I just crack on. But when I'm 20 years down the line and your kids say, "Oh, Dad, show us that shit," I think, yeah, to be fair, well, I did play in a cup final. It's got to mean something. It's got to.
Oh, man, from a fan's point of view,
mate.
It's like you walked on the moon. Like it's God level. These are things that so few people will ever experience. And when you're doing it, we're all there watching, idolising you doing it. I remember those things in vivid HD memory. Like, that you've done that thing is an incredible achievement.
And the other thing, the girls are more interested in the fact that I shook Princess Diana's hand. That's what I'm more interested. Like, you mean Princess Diana and Prince Charles? Yeah, I can't think I did. Yeah. But that era, honestly, just absolutely incredible.
It was magical to watch as a fan. Now, as you can imagine, Woney, when we announced you coming on, we deluged with emails and
Jesus Christ, I'm a bit concerned, Matt. I'm not gonna...
Well, they're all very nice. The ones that we've chosen are anyway. So
no, I bet I've scored. If I wasn't called a lazy scouse git at one stage, I'd be amazing.
We've all been there.
There might have been a few well-intentioned references to your fitness. But Mr. Dorr got in touch. Who's
the problem was, though, Matt.
You what?
For most of my Forest career, you don't play in the Premier League, you don't run around. But when you compare to Steve Stone on the right side, who's human, I look like I can't run, but Stoney, he just had an iron lung. I'm not kidding.
I was injured with Stone. I was on recovery with Stoney when I did my knee. Mate, the runs that I had to try and keep up with him. And John Hazelden as well, bless him, who's recently passed away.
Oh my God,
amazing. What a fella. He was up there with Stoney. He was like 60 or something. And like, I'm this young whippersnapper. I'm a mile behind them running around up the embankment and stuff. Stoney was a machine, ridiculous.
Mr. Dorr got in touch. He's a Forest blogger. And he said, Ian Woan is my idol. What, in your opinion, is your best career goal for Forest?
The free kick against Tottenham, I like. Yeah. The FA Cup one against Newcastle, you said, it was just its own play, and it was probably that one, I think. But I like the one against Arsenal early on, which was pre-Premier League.
Yeah, it was. The ball breaks on Woan on the left. That 3-2
Yeah.
game. That is an incredible goal.
Yeah, that was a good game. Yeah.
You know what I really remember about that, and I don't know how many times you've watched the footage back, but when you wheel away to celebrate, the sort of number on your shirt is fanning up at the back. And it looked like the numbers on the shirts back then were heavy, rigid. I don't know what they were made of, but now it's just like iron-on felt or whatever.
They were big, fat felt numbers. Yeah, and anything that kind of weighed me down, I didn't appreciate. I'm not going to lie. Whack the thin shirts. That's what I needed.
Will Fellows says, with your wand of a left foot and England's never-ending left-sided problem, how many England caps do you think you should have won?
I should have won an England Cup, in my opinion.
I
got close. 96. I was in dialogue with like the England people, and it was me or Jason Wilcox actually that went to the Euros. He was going to take me on, so it was like the two of us, and real big disappointment. I remember when the squad came out and Jason Wilcox went to, I think they went on a pre-season tour of Singapore, I think, which was the famous.
Oh God, yeah.
I think I would have been involved in that if I'd have been there. Actually, so probably good I wasn't. But yeah, it was like the two of us, and I should have. I should have got an England cap because lefties are kind of a dying breed, and there wasn't that many about. I should have really, but yeah, that was a big disappointment of mine that I didn't. But when I was really in my prime, I think me and Steve Stone both at 96, and I got through the 97 season, and then I tore my patella tendon, and I missed probably 14 months. You know, it's never really been documented. Actually, it was like we didn't play much that season. I missed that whole season with a ruptured patella tendon. So I missed an awful lot. That was kind of the end of it, really. The 96 season, I should have really made a cap there that year, I think, possibly.
There was loads of buzz. I remember the buzz around England sniffing around you. I remember that vividly.
Yeah, there's no regrets. I mean, Christ almighty. You know, you come from one league and you have a great season. You know, it's kind of... It's sad because, you know, historically, you know, you sit here now saying, oh, yeah, I've got an England cap. You know, it's been absolutely amazing. But there's no regrets from football. Football's been amazing to me. Amazing. I thought I'd missed the boat. You know, I was in Everton. I got released, went into 3 years of non-league, playing really low non-league, Northwest Counties, HFS Loans League, got into the conference with Runcorn, and then, you know, amazing. I don't know how the hell it happened, got signed for Forest. You know, so I never sit here and think there's any regrets. Oh my God, absolutely not.
Oh, you shouldn't at all. And you're a god at Forest.
Absolutely amazing. And Forest, I'm still living in Nottingham, and it's still a big part of us. You know, I get such a buzz going down there. Love going down to Forest. You know, I'm a Forest fan, so you know it's. You know, you can't shy away from that.
Woney, this has been an absolute treat, mate. Thank you so much for doing it.
You're welcome. Enjoyed it.
Well, there you go. Ian Woan, what a guy, full of beans. And just to absolutely reassure you, this was recorded before he tested positive. But when he tested positive, we got in touch with him, and he's got no symptoms. He's asymptomatic. He's fine. And he's isolating at the moment to make sure he doesn't pass it on. But what a treat catching up with him, especially after Daichi. To do the two of them week after week was brilliant.
Oh, amazing, mate. Just so good to see him again, man. Just brilliant to just catch up. And it's funny, isn't it? Like, same with Daichi, you just go straight back into it.
He just, obviously, as a fan, I adore anyone who wears a Forest shirt. This is old ground. I say it all the time. But it's so cool to see players, particularly ones you watched and idolised, reminisce about Forest in the same way that I reminisce about... And obviously, I reminisce about the games. I wasn't there behind the scenes, but the warmth and the love, and it's all still so vivid to them.
What's really nice is I think we're catching a lot of these players at a period in their life at a certain age as well, where they're comfortable looking back. Because as a footballer, I mean, as a fan, you'll have noticed, I'm sure, that players don't generally have memorabilia. They don't like looking back. It's not something you do. It's not something that's bred into you. It's about what comes next, right? You've won the FA Cup final. You have a pint that night, and then you're on to the next game. And I think we're catching a lot of these players really quite happy to talk about their time and share it, and it just feels lovely, doesn't it? I feel privileged to kind of not just talk about it, but be around them at this stage in their lives where they're happy to talk about it, and they're happy to reminisce, and they're happy that they're almost just looking back themselves going, that was mad. I played for Nottingham Forest and did this and did that under Brian Clough, under Frank Clark, with those players, even the top players. You know, you get a sense of it with Woney. You know, it's lovely. It's a real pleasure and honour.
It is an absolute buzz. We love making this show. We love talking to former players about their time here, and we hope that you love listening to it. If you do leave us a review on iTunes. Thanks to so many of you who have done, but it helps other Forest fans find it. It helps keep us in the charts, which is great. So you can do that on your mobile device. Do follow us on Twitter at RRD1865 and spread the word. Email us, rrd1865@outlook.com. And we're making this, Paul and I, well, I speak for myself, but we're both lucky in that we haven't contracted it, but we know that we're making these to keep you entertained and to keep you positive. And we know that wherever you're listening to this, you might be having a very different experience, and we're making it for that reason, so that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, for at least an hour or so each week, we give you a dose of Forest that just perks you up a little bit. So, you know, we know that this is a very difficult time for a lot of people. That's never far from our minds, and we're making this to do
a shot of Forest.
A shot of Forest.
A shot of Forest. Straight into the main line.
Paul, always a pleasure.
Yep, lovely to see you again, mate. And again, you know, you're looking wonderful, I have to say. You are looking. That bike is working. It's working its way through your jowls, through your midriff, through your. What else had weight? Your toes? Were your toes fat? Yeah, toes. You look awesome, though, mate.
Oh, Matt, well, I mean, you know, I have been shielding because of my asthma for 10. Well, by the time you listen to this, it'll be more than 10 weeks. I've not set foot outside at all. I live in a flat. I don't have any outdoor space of my own, and because of my asthma, I really don't want to catch it. And I've had to shield because of the medication I'm on. So I've been inside entirely for over 10 weeks. But I bought a cheap exercise bike off the internet. I do 90 minutes interval training on that 5 or 6 times a week. And that has helped. So
you look brilliant, mate. Who'd have thought that, like, if somebody had told you this 6 months ago, that you'd have been stuck in your house for 3 months and it would be the best thing that ever happened to you?
Exactly. And you know why? Because we got to chat to Ian Woan.
There you go.
And I get to talk to you every week. Love you, man.
Which is a joy. Love you too.
See you next week.